What's up, everybody, and welcome to 3VO, where we're all on the same team. I'm your host for today, Jordan.
And I'm your other host, Brendan.
And if you're new here, we are just two big old nerds that just love video games so much we can't stop yapping about it. So if you too share that same slightly annoying enthusiasm for video games that we do, this is definitely the place for you. We're going to be talking about the Uncharted series today. But before we get into that, Brendan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Why? I'm doing great because...
I said that with a... It's like, why would you be doing that?
You've got a weird energy. You went through that so fast.
I really did. It's just... I'm
doing...
sleeping like a normal person for once.
Oh, you got too much energy.
The vibes are different.
He's too powerful. I'm doing great because we're coming off of a weekend where we went to the Ren Fair.
So much fun.
So much fun. We are spoiled. Our Ren Fair is really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is the first Ren Fair that was ever created, actually.
You wouldn't know that being at Ren Fair. It's not that there's anybody that ever mentions that at any point.
I may have mentioned it once or twice before, and I'm being annoyingly reminded about it right now.
No, I just heard it like 6 times while I was there. That really wasn't even.
It wasn't even just me.
You. No, wasn't you at all.
But yeah, oh my god, we had so much fun. We were all dressed up. We had a group of 10 of us. And we were all dressed up. It was Pirate Weekend, which was so much fun. Spent way too much money. Spent way too much money on food.
Yeah.
The food is good, though. Like,
honestly, yeah.
Gotta say, didn't have anything that was terrible.
Yeah.
I went the weekend before also because I'm crazy. Got a chicken parm sandwich that was really good.
Nice.
We had dumplings this weekend that were so good. I also had a Scotch egg. I was very happy about that. I wanted to try a Scotch egg. It was just fine. It was a hard-boiled egg wrapped in sausage and deep fried.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It was also $10.
That's I mean, price of eggs nowadays, honestly, not too crazy.
But it was just the best time. Our group was so awesome.
It was one of the coolest groups you could probably ask to go with for a Ren Fair. Everybody got what was up. We all just there was enough of we all want to stick together and do stuff, but enough but we could spread out if we want to and do our own thing if we need to.
Yeah. And we definitely we were kind of like ducklings a little bit, trying to stay together, but ultimately just went.
Yeah.
We caught some shows.
Shows were super
You got
fun.
to participate.
I did get to be in one show.
You got to be in the Dungeons and Shakespeare,
which was super cool. It was so much fun. Got to be a very problematic monster in the show.
Very problematic monster.
Never in my life seen any style of an improv show host get something of a recommendation basically and just go,
Yeah. But he rolled with it.
He absolutely did. And it was great. And you could tell he was having a great time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I caught his show the weekend before as well. And it was really cool to see him just come up with things on the spot. Because it's kind of a hard thing to juggle, working with Shakespearean text and characters. Because for anybody unfamiliar, so this is Willy Nilly, who goes to a variety of the Renaissance fairs and does a Dungeons and Shakespeare show where he gets audience members to participate. So the first person will pull a name out of a hat and it's like, oh, you're Othello or you're, the gravedigger from Hamlet or whatever, and then we'll also pull monsters out of a hat and other people will participate like Jordan got to. And then there'll be the monster and there's a D20 and you roll. It's awesome. It's such a good time.
And I will say for that one too, just especially just for pulling people up on stage. And of course, something like that's going to attract a bunch of theater kids. But just everyone who went up understood the assignment and were great. Everyone who went up was awesome.
Yeah, same thing in the weekend before the show that I saw. Yeah,
Sweet.
Everybody was just on it. Yeah,
which makes sense. Again, it's probably a niche crowd that wants to go.
It's
a combination of theater kids and D&D nerds.
It's everybody knew it was up.
100%. Yeah.
What was your favorite part of Fair?
My favorite part of Fair was probably that show.
Yeah.
Just because that was so much fun. I'm also just with stuff like that, I'm also just such a big people watcher. There were so many moments when you guys would go into one of the little stands or shops and go look around that I was like, it's cool, but I'm not going to go in there right now. I'm just going to hang out outside, wait for it to get done. I was just hanging out with a drink, just watching everyone in their costumes and all the little people who were doing the little mini performances, running around, stuff like that. And just for the most part, everyone there just had like such a good vibe. So if somebody just walked by me and they had like a great outfit, I could just be like, "Oh my god, you look amazing!" And they were like, "Thank you, you look great too." And it was just like the vibes were probably my favorite part.
Immaculate.
Absolutely.
At our Ren Fair.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It was great.
I also gotta say, it's totally chill for anyone to come to the Ren Fair and be in plain clothes.
100%.
But so many people were dressed up.
Way more people.
Way more than...
Yeah.
Which is just cool to see.
Yeah.
It's just awesome to see everybody just like turn out, you know?
Yeah.
I think it being Pirate Weekend also kind of contributed to that. But the weekend before that I went, it was also, I would say, the same thing.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Go to the Ren Fair. I don't know why we're plugging the Ren Fair, but I mean,
because they need it. Because they clearly need it right now.
Go to the Ren Fair. It's a good time.
It was a really, really good time. I had a blast. Well, now that we've got all that out of the way, let's jump into the spirit of adventure as we discuss the Uncharted series. For those who may not know, Uncharted is an action-adventure video game series developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Studios. In the series, you follow a group of treasure hunters led by Nathan Drake as he uncovers historical mysteries, finds mythical and long-forgotten cities, and fights off soldiers of fortune who could take these treasures for their own selfish needs. The game was originally created by former narrative director of Naughty Dog, whose previous title works includes the Kane series and Jak and Daxter, Amy Hennig, who was head writer for the first 3 Uncharted games, as well as to handle the directing for the first 3 games, and had started working on Uncharted 4 before eventually leaving Naughty Dog. That's right, nerds. Your favorite story about a big, badass action adventure guy is written by and created by a woman. DI, baby!
We have DI. Pew,
just
pew, pew.
fireworks going on.
Pew, 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 pew.
Now, in preparation for this thing, Brendan, you did play the Uncharted games, correct?
Nope,
you didn't? Interesting.
I've played like the first couple chapters of the first game.
Got you. Yeah.
So, and I know that it's I mean, this is oversimplification, but it's like Indiana Jonesy.
I would say that not even an oversimplification. The series makes no bones about the fact that they are very heavily inspired by Indiana Jones. It has that feel to it, and I will be using Indiana Jones as like a reference for the theme and tone and feel of the game overall as we go through this.
It's just one that didn't quite grip me, or I got busy or something because of like when it was available for me to play.
Yeah.
I think I was like starting college around that time. So busy.
It's one that I could totally see somebody looking at, especially in retrospect now, going back to the first one, and being like, this seems a little pedantic, a little simple, like, and it's not anything super complicated as far as like story and gameplay goes. But what drew me into it and what eventually got me to play through all the games was that once you really start getting into it, there is so much more, especially to these characters and the story itself, which is why I really want to talk about today, because one of the things within that I find so incredibly interesting, something that we always talk about on the show is that feeling of immersion you get in video games.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about the survival horror games, that like real feeling of dread of like, oh, I don't want to die. This could actually be bad for me. Or like the feeling in like RPGs of like, oh, I am this character. I have like a feeling like Mass Effect's a good example for that, of like care for my crew, like the character themselves, and like wanting to like that drive to actually like save the galaxy and whatnot. The Uncharted series kind of does a similar thing, but in a slightly different way, because it's not going for that like real world feel of like, oh, I'm like in the jungle looking for stuff, and like, you know, like I feel all this like, you know, the humidity and the trees and the danger and stuff around me. It wants to create that like Indiana Jones adventure feeling of like, well, there is like definitely present danger and you're concerned for the characters and like you want them to be okay because you like them, but it really invites more of a spirit of like, oh my god, that was so much fun, that was awesome, you know, buildings collapsing around me as I'm running through and like jumping and running and blah 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 blah. Like the immersion for it is more for that feeling, rather than something like more like intense feeling. I just think it's really interesting that a game is able to like capture the spirit of something that like really I've only really seen in like, there's been some of it in video games, but like really specifically like more in like Indiana Jones or like other like adventure series and movies and stuff like that. That's really why I wanted to talk about it. That makes sense. Today.
And Uncharted, I think, is known for kind of those cool moments.
Very
like
much so.
the plane or the train.
The train
Yeah.
part is in Uncharted 2. That was going to be a
Yeah.
big thing I was going to talk about.
Yeah,
There is something like that feel is very like that for me at least, like very much like a little kid watching Indiana Jones or any number of like I also grew up watching Zorro and stuff like that. So
yeah.
you see it's a lot of set pieces you've seen in other media that you're like, oh man, it would be kind of cool to do that subconsciously with a thought of like, but in this reality where it's like I'm not actually in any danger. I have plot armor. I have like plot armor.
Sure.
I could get away with some stuff that like maybe wouldn't actually work in the real world and whatnot, you know, like but does a really good job of like creating that feeling for it too.
Totally. It seems like it's relatable. Like the main characters are relatable because they're just a normal guy, but they're also kind of like as close to a superhero as you can get.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about too, particularly to talk about the main character of Nathan Drake a little bit here, is that he is sort of your everyman, but the thing about him that's really cool and fun is that his quote unquote like superpower is sort of the perspective that people outside of his group have of him, and that he is constantly being underestimated by the forces working against him. Because he was an orphan that grew up like on the run with his brother, as you find out throughout the games. Never really had like a solid like home life growing up and whatnot. Didn't have a like a classic education in the world, but is still one of the most knowledgeable people you will meet in the field of like any of these studies of like he's the guy that everybody goes to for like specific knowledge on some things.
Okay.
And he's also very capable of running, jumping, and shooting guns and whatnot.
Right. So very, very Indiana Jones.
Incredibly
Very
Indiana
much.
Jones.
Gotcha. So what are some things that you love about this game?
One of the main things I love about it, and it's because we've covered the recent Tomb Raider one on this one too, and Jedi Fallen Order on this one too, and while I'm playing Jedi Survivor again right now, the thing that I've realized is that so many of them have taken a big point of inspiration from Uncharted, because the camera work in this game is absolutely spectacular and is such a big part of like that feel of like making it feel really big and epic and cinematic and whatnot, but also still lends to the game, like the gameplay mechanics themselves. Like we talked about it when we covered Tomb Raider, how the camera will like shift and move and pan out to give you like the full scope of like how high you are, or like shift over to show you like where you need to go. Realize that's all Uncharted stuff. That all started with Uncharted 1 for like really showing that, but also giving you like that feel of like and throughout all the games, there's when you like, because like the games are very formulaic in the sense that like they literally make the joke in the game. It's like throughout the 4 main title games, you're literally finding a lost city in every single game. And in every one, they do like what you would see in the movie, where it's like they crest the hill and they finally see it, and the music swells and the camera goes wide and you see the whole thing. They do that in the game, but with the camera that's tracking you like with the character's gameplay too.
Sure.
So it doesn't break that like player to PC immersion that you have, but still gives you that sense of like, oh my god, this is so cool. I'm actually like, it gives you that sense of like not just like the look of it, but the actual sense of like, oh my god, I found it. Like I did it, I found it.
Right.
And it's a really cool like simple mechanic to use, but just like really, really smart.
It's one less barrier to the player because you're experiencing it as the character does.
Exactly.
Instead of like, okay, there's a cut, then a loading screen, and then a cutscene that plays out.
Yes.
That definitely feels like a barrier, and it feels like, oh, I'm watching something happen to somebody else now.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Very, very much so.
Yeah. Integrating the cutscene, if you can even call it that, with the gameplay.
Yeah, and the game does have like traditional cutscenes for sure, but even then, it's like they really did a good job of like making sure that like that feel wasn't broken going into them as well. You know what I mean? But not doing it in the way like I've seen in some other games, like the most recent iterations of the God of War series. They go into cutscenes in those games too, but you stay in like a one shot with the camera basically, as it sort of follows the characters around through the cutscene that you're in. So that third person feel never breaks away from it. This goes into straight up normal cutscenes with like camera cuts and whatnot, but it all still kind of lends to that like, again, like cinematic feel of like, oh, this like adventure I'm on and whatnot. And it wants to create that specific feeling for it.
Gotcha. Is there anything else about like specifically the camera angles in this game that you've noticed?
Yeah, so something else that I sadly didn't put together until and I feel I think I remembered putting it together when the game series, when the first game got announced, because I was like, oh yeah, this is Naughty Dog. These are the guys who did the Crash Bandicoot series way back in the day. Of course, one of the things that they'd be able to absolutely nail in this thing is going to be the platforming part of it. Like the actual just like running around from like platform to platform and doing all that stuff. Because I talked about it a little bit on here on a few episodes back, just specifically about Crash Bandicoot, I think. Just talking about like sort of that slight change of like angle and look for the game and whatnot. Because most like platformers going way back then were often side scrollers.
Sure.
This one switched that to where you're running forward, or even at times like, which is where it comes into this one, running towards the camera basically.
Right.
And for this specifically, it has those moments in it where that immersion is really like there. The immersion that it helps create there is one of like, again, I'll be referencing it the whole episode. that like Indiana Jones running away from the boulder feeling,
yeah.
But being able to do it in a way in a game that's like different each time. Of like, sure, it could be a boulder, it could be rocks falling, could be a military vehicle coming straight at you that you have to run away from.
Yeah.
Could be the city that you just discovered is now collapsing and you have to escape, so you're running away from it and whatnot.
Naturally.
Just really, really like well done stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So then, tell us a little bit more about the like basic
Gameplay structure. What are you doing? What's the like formula, I suppose?
Yeah, no problem. So the basic structure of it is, it more or less is sort of like you go to a new location. It is like the jungle or a lost city or like some combination of the two, or like a city like kind of set like the Middle East or Africa or something like that. And it's basically like move through this, do some platforming sections, fight some people off, and then eventually you solve a puzzle, and then you have to make your grand escape.
Okay.
And it's sort of a rinse, wash, repeat of that sort of over and over and over and over and over again. It's kind of the basic structure for the whole thing.
Okay, that makes sense. And
Yeah.
is pretty common in games of this type.
Yeah, it follows that formula that we talk about all the time on here of that like 5 minutes of fun. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just like you experience a certain like a 5 minutes like threshold of fun in every single section of a game you play. It's just repeating that over and over and over again, and like how you manage to vary it up and change it and whatnot. This follows that to a T in a very, very, very like just a really well done, polished way.
Gotcha.
This game is like the game series overall, as far as like the gameplay stuff goes. I wouldn't say it like does anything like super new or like really impressive. Like all the mechanics are you've seen before in some capacity, or I mean, for a lot of them too, you've also seen used in other games since. But it's pretty much all polished and all done very, very well. Is what it is.
So they don't reinvent the wheel, but they just do it in a really good way.
No, they really know how to use the wheel, is what it is.
Really good with the wheel.
Really, really, really good with the wheel.
Gotcha.
But even in sections like, because you brought it up at the beginning, there's like the section with the train. So there's two sections with the train technically.
Yeah.
And both have a very different feel for what they're going for. They're really fun. Uncharted 2 starts with Nathan Drake.
spoilers ahead.
Spoilers ahead, guys. We're going to be talking about specifically what happens in this game series that hasn't seen a new release in 8 years. We will never talk about new games on the show. Anyway,
That's not entirely true.
we've talked about newer games, but I don't think we've ever done like a fresh title that's come out.
We might have to change that.
We might. But in it, the beginning of Uncharted 2, you start off in the back of a train that has fallen off of a cliff. So it's like the train is like dangling off the side of this like snow fallen cliffside and whatnot, and you have to climb your way up out of it as the train is slowly like starting to fall off the cliff.
Yeah.
That's the start of the game. Later in the game, towards the end, you get sort of like the what happened just before this moment, which is the train on tracks moving through this like vast jungle area. And Nathan Drake is looking for one of his friends who's been kidnapped at the front of the train, and you have to just like hop from train car to train car to train car, slowly but surely making your way up to the front of the train.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's like you gotta like go on the sides of it sometimes and like climb along the sides. They have those track like things on the side that show like which way you're gonna be going. That like always they show up in like the cowboy movies that always hit the cowboy at the top of the head. You have to like jump over those or duck under them at moments and stuff like that.
Okay.
Go through tunnels. We have to go on the side. Like it's all so much
exciting.
damn fun.
Yeah,
it's so
that's so
exciting.
cool.
It's so fun, and it's just an area again with something like this is that like that could just be so frustrating, just because of the nature of like physics and like making sure you stay on the train and whatnot. It does just enough to like create the feeling of like I don't want to step too far this way, or like if you hang on the side, you're like better not let go, like that kind of thing. But it's really a section of the game that shows like the combination of just like everything the game does well, because it's a combination of the platforming and of just like running and shooting at the same time.
So essentially it's a flashback, this moment, but you're actually actively playing all of it.
Yes.
Interesting. That's cool.
The games past the first one, well, they do that a bit more, not like all the way through. They'll often, 2, 3, and I believe, and 4 start with something that happens much later in the game narrative-wise, but shows it at the beginning of the game.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like stories that can play with the timeline and kind of skip around and tell a story a certain way advantageously by doing time split.
Yes.
So I like that.
4 does it a lot. 4 does it where it's a similar thing where it starts towards near what would be narratively the end of the game, takes you back to sort of the start of like the actual like narrative start of the game, then takes you back to when Nathan Drake and his brother Sam were kids, and then shows you a certain extent a time in their lives. Then goes into like their early 20s when they were still together, working in a prison somewhere or something like that, and then it goes forward from there to show like the present time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really creative. I like that.
Yeah.
Now, we always talk about music in our games that we cover. So, tell us about the music.
So, the first 3 games are done by a gentleman named Greg Edmondson.
Okay.
Number 4 is done by Henry Jackman.
Okay.
Something they definitely share is that they were definitely given the note of like Indiana Jones adjacent, like very much like that. Like, but they were probably given like a lot of like we want the feel like that. We want the feel of like Indiana Jones, or even like I'd throw in like Star Wars in there, of that like sort of like funner action adventure feel, or even like stuff like going back to like I mentioned before, like Zorro or something like that. You know what I mean? Just like all of these things that come together to sort of like influence this game. It's like and the music is. Really, it fits the game so perfectly, and is just again that part of that funnel into just like creating that feeling of what was that motion I decided to do for it. But like,
if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, it was slightly phallic.
Yeah. just really making that like good like narrative tunnel.
We have to censor that. What a treat for our audio only listeners. Go watch the video of this if you want to know what Jordan was doing with his hands.
Woo, we are in a mood today. Damn, okay.
The music is
the music,
excellent.
Yes, the music is excellent. Like the way that I feel it is like it kind of invites the player themselves to have that feeling of like the Indiana Jones theme is like da 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 da, like it just like kind of makes you want to get into that mode basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Love
Super
that.
good.
Love that. Now, how's the writing? Because sometimes,
Yes.
Writing can get a little away.
Yeah.
From a project.
Particularly in video games, especially we love narrative, story focused games. I have definitely played a few though where it's like part of what makes me lose it is the writing, because it's just there's some moments where I've played certain games like this where I'm just like it feels like you forgot you were making a video game. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like cool. I've been watching these dudes talk for like 8 minutes. Can we fucking get back to what I was actually here to do?
Having recently played Resident Evil Village, Ethan's writing is bad.
Yeah.
He's dumb.
It's kind of a joke that it's just like, they wrote like the opposite of the action hero main character.
Yeah.
It's like none of his like
nope.
Who's the creepy big like bloaty fish guy that you fight in the game?
Oh, Moreau?
Isn't there a moment where it's like you kill him and Nathan's just like, fuck you. Like that's it. There's no like cleverness to it.
I don't know. He's not very clever though,
No.
for sure. Like none of his one-liners hit, you know.
I do remember one with Lady Dimitrescu. It's a curse you, Ethan Winters. You're the one who's cursed. Wow, buddy.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Ethan, let's workshop these.
Way to fucking go, champ. You got her on that one.
But the writing in this game, not so bad.
It's so clever.
Good.
It's such clever writing. It moves. It stays with the game. It does a really smart thing where it's like all of the cutscenes in the game are relatively short. I'd say no longer than like maybe a minute and a half to like 2 minutes long.
Okay.
3 maybe
That's pretty
being
tight.
like
Yeah.
the longest.
Yeah.
Before it gets back into like playing the actual game. But a lot of the dialogue you get is delivered during the gameplay as you're still doing stuff. Or like it's also kind of there to introduce like mechanics to you. Like one of the examples I put down here in 2, you're stealthing your way into a museum where there's like guards all around, and you have a partner with you who's like on an earpiece, and Nathan's like climbing on the side of like this one structure, and you hear over the comms, you just hear, there's a guy above you, there's a guy above you. And you look up and there's a guard like standing with his back, like very video gamey, like with his back to the rail. And you climb up and the game prompts you and you're like, oh, this is when I learned this mechanic. And then Drake grabs him, pulls him off and throws him down. And then over the comms you just hear, there's a guy below you. There's a guy below you.
Oh no. Oh boy. Well,
just like,
hey.
it's a little dark, but like, it's just weird little like clever things like that. There's one line where there's like you and it's Nathan. So the two of the main guys, it's Nathan Drake and this other guy named Victor Sullivan, nicknamed Sully in the game. Sully's a much older guy. He's like in his like mid to late 50s when you first get introduced to him.
The
in
mentor.
Game 1. He's very much the mentor character. Sure. Yeah. And you're walking through the jungle with him, and Nathan says like, I think we're getting close. And Sully just says something like, it's he goes, well, good, I'm sweating like a hooker in church over here. And Nathan goes, you took a hooker to church? And Sully goes, why not? It's quippy, fun, stuff like that. But again, it's Indiana Jones. It's that feel of like, the situation is dire. There's people trying to kill us. Like, we're looking for an ancient lost city, da-da-da-da-da. But we want the tone to still be like...
Joker's gonna joke.
We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be, still like very much letting into like a more like light-hearted feel to it.
Sure.
And even then, like with the character itself, like other than some of the random baddies you shoot, like Nathan Drake, every single game tries to save like the big bad guy at the end in some capacity, like because they get, it's the classic thing of like they get trapped under some rubble, they start getting swept away by like water or something like that. He's always like, give me your hand, and they're always just like, why are you trying to, I want to kill you, like why are you trying to do this to me? And into that like classic idea of like a hero of like, if I don't have to kill you or let you die, I won't.
Little tropey, but hey.
No, the game makes, again, no apologies about
no bones about it. Yeah.
Like it's tropey, and that's part of the fun. Is that it's like it embraces it and rolls into it.
Just leans into it.
Very,
I love
very much
that.
so. Yeah.
Well, do you have any final thoughts about this game?
One of the things that I really, really love about it, and this is something I could talk about all day with this game, like literally all day, because just in terms of like wanting to be a storyteller myself, whether it's like writing scripts or being a dungeon master, I really don't like it when people kind of harp on things being formulaic, because I always hear just like, oh well, this is like this formula. It's like it's all going to be the same thing over and over and over again. Big fucking spoiler alert. Everything you watch and consume comes down to formula in some fucking capacity. So doesn't matter. I've gotten arguments with people before where there's kind of like, I hate formula, but I love Shakespeare. And I'm like, well, then you love formula. Like, I don't know. I don't know how you can make that kind of argument. But it's like all 4 of the games, and even the side quest game, Lost Legacy, which is really fun. People were way too harsh on it. But like, they're all classic hero's journey. Like it's all very classic hero's journey where it's like everybody has an arc, everyone's different by the end of the game, goals change, but there's always like still like the main goal of like the character that he's trying to follow through from the beginning to the very end of the story. But something that the game series does incredibly well is that the lessons for Nathan Drake never change. I'm sorry. Wow, my brain is so weird today. The lessons that Nathan Drake learns throughout all 4 of the games is never repeated in any capacity in the games. It's like there's always a different thing that he has to learn from the adventure that he's going on. Despite the fact that if you really tracked it, like you really traced it back to like how the script layout is compared to the formula it's on, it's the same narrative beats. It all follows like the same kind of like way that the game flows and whatnot. But it's never a repeated like point, the characters grow throughout each game is kind of really what I'm getting to here. To the point of which that, like, one of the things that I love that I clocked from 1 to 3 is that in Uncharted 1, there's a thing that happens where there's like a little bit of like a subplot with Nathan and Sully of like, can Nathan really trust Sully? Because towards the beginning of the game, Sully gets shot. Nathan presumes he gets killed. But then later on in the game, you see him with the bad guys that are trying to kill Nathan, basically. Oh. And so there's a little bit of a subplot there of like, oh, maybe I can't trust this guy, but I've been running with him for like 20 years. He's never done something like this. Why would he betray me now? Kind of a thing. Cut to game 3. Nathan has a sit down with like the big baddie of the game. This very like sort of Helen Mirren-esque British woman who starts talking about just like, and can you even trust a man like Victor Sullivan? He's been a thief his whole life and whatnot. And Nathan literally goes like, you could just go ahead and not. There's no like, the game literally going like, yeah, we're not even going to go there again because we know, like we already know. We're not going to,
yeah.
Because one of the things that drives me nuts in any media I watch is watching characters kind of fall into the same hole over and over and over and over and over again, unless that's the point of that. It's like this character never learns the lesson, But a lot of times it more just feels like writers kind of falling onto tropes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yes, the games are tropey, but in terms of like the characters being tropey, they never repeat the same tropes more than once with the characters throughout the games.
Okay.
So it's just like not just in like narrative storytelling, but in feel for these characters, there's like growth and developments. And if you're going to do a series like this, I think that's kind of what even subconsciously players are looking for. It's like, if I'm going to be with these characters for like X number of years while you keep making this game series, I do want to see them grow and change. Because as I'm playing these games, I'm growing and changing, hopefully anyway. You know what I mean? I'm becoming a better and different person. So I would like these characters to kind of like follow a similar path. And it makes it a lot better too, because then you are forced as a creator and a writer to create a different narrative and different story for your game as well. So it just writing wise, again, like it's tropey. It's a little cheesy. It's a little cheesy at moments, but in a really like fun kind of like heartfelt way. And it just makes you like feel good because you're like, they're really likable and fun characters too. So you're sort of like, just like, oh, I want things to go. I want them to like, not just like I want good things for them, but like I want them to learn. I want them to grow. I want them to change because I like I like them already. I want to see a better version of this person. You know what I mean? It's that feel to it.
Love that. Love that. You identify and feel for the characters and want to see like more out of them, like you might for like with a movie or a TV show.
Yeah. Especially when it's like, it's very present that it's like, oh, there's a lesson here that this character must learn before the clock runs out. And when they do get there, you're like, oh, cool. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, Uncharted is a PlayStation title, so if you want to pick it up, you have to have a PlayStation. Sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is very much a Sony exclusive.
Yep.
But which is, I think, other than with the re-release of the Crash Bandicoot games that they did with the remaster, I think almost everything that's a Sony title specific, or at least like a Naughty Dog title, I think is all a Sony exclusive game.
Gotcha. Looks like you might be able to play it on PC as well, maybe through some sort of proprietary PlayStation thing, because it is a proprietary PlayStation title.
They have been putting a lot of their stuff on PC recently. Like I think Last of Us is on PC now as well. So okay. I think maybe the Uncharted stuff might also be on PC.
Okay, so there you go. So there's some hope.
Yeah, there is some hope
if you have a PC.
So if you ever decide that you want to pick it up and play it, yeah, do it.
Awesome.
Or again, one of these days, I'm just going to bring my PlayStation over. We're gonna take some time. We're just gonna run you through some games that you wouldn't get to play otherwise.
I can't wait,
because these are ones. This definitely now falls into a category of me of like, play this game to kind of like get me. You know what I mean? Like if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you want to understand me a little bit, like this is definitely one of those.
Got it. Yeah. I definitely have those too. So we'll have to do a little.
Yeah. Well. I love that. Yeah. We'll switch back and forth. I love it so much. Well, that's it for our discussion about the Uncharted series. Now we get to go to the bonus round, where our producer Caitlin has prepared something for us. We're not even sure what's gonna happen.
We have a mysterious pile of papers just off screen. Why don't you go ahead and grab those, Jordy?
Of course.
Okay, so don't look at them. I know that.
Yes, I did. I did. So, and I've kept them mostly laid out as they were.
Yeah. That's perfect. So why don't you explain a little bit, Caitlin?
So I was looking at our theme for today, which is treasure hunting.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And I created a little treasure hunting adventure for you.
Fun.
With some geography riddles.
Great.
And geography questions, kind of.
We got this.
We got this.
This is to find out if we can actually be Nathan Drake.
Oh, great.
This is like, it's a test.
Yeah, because
we have to do well on this.
This is all we need, is the ability to solve riddles and some geography facts. And we can go fight mercenaries and uncover Agent Lost Cities. Yep.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Perfect.
They should be pretty simple. So you'll take the number 1 and you'll read it, and that'll be your first riddle.
Okay.
And then tell me what your answer is. It's going to be a country, and then I'm going to be like, and of course you know the capital of...
Great.
And
Okay.
Then if you get it right, you will move on to the next piece of paper.
Okay, got it.
Okay, great. Well, here's number 1. Jordan, would you like to do the honors?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's like a fortune cookie. Okay. Go to the country that holds more lakes than any land. A sparkling maze by nature's hand. The shores stretch farther than the rest. A coastal crown from east to west.
Go to the country that holds more lakes than any land?
More lakes than any land.
Okay. So, is
Sparkling
Google
maze.
available to us?
I feel like that'd be cheating. I feel like we have to unfortunately just dumb our way through this.
Okay.
So the 2 hints in this are, this country has the most lakes.
Yes.
Out of
Okay.
any country, and it also has the longest shoreline.
Most lakes, longest shoreline.
Is it a Scandinavian country?
She's really just gonna make us just throw out an answer and see what happens here. My first thought would be like South America, or like somewhere in South America, mostly because of like the maze thing, like the jungle and the Amazon and stuff like that. But that's more rivers, not lakes.
Lakes in any land, a sparkling maze by nature's hand. The shore stretched farther than the rest. A coastal crown from east to west. A coastal crown from east to west. So does it stretch like? Like, does its shoreline stretch from, like, the eastern side of it to the western side of it? We're doing great.
Just to give a little behind the scenes here. Before we did this, Caitlin said she was worried this is going to be too easy. And we are stuck on one.
Oh, no. Okay,
Often the tutorial question. And we are...
the tutorial
And we are stumped. Utterly stumped.
Okay, so...
It's not a Scandinavian country.
It's not a Scandinavian
You're going to
country.
have to start giving us some hints. Oh, we're not going to get through this.
More lakes than any land. Okay, so...
That's a very specific fact.
Okay, so I have a thought.
Shoot, go for
it. I'm gonna just toss it out.
Do
Let's just
it.
start throwing shit at
Fuck
the wall
it.
and
Yeah.
see what
Yeah,
sticks. Okay,
Fuck
I
it.
was thinking Canada because it's like huge.
Uh-huh.
And I know that they have a lot of lakes and they go from east to west.
Does it have a large coast?
Is it Canada?
It's Canada.
Yeah, it is Canada. Okay.
Woo! All right, nicely
The
done.
capital of which is Quebec.
It is, yeah.
Nope.
Oh, wait,
it?
is it Ottawa?
It's Ottawa.
Oh, it is Ottawa.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So longest coastline also, so I don't know if you know this, but in the U.S., the longest coastline, I believe, is Maine. And it's because it goes in and out and in and out. And
Okay,
That's
okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
So the like,
Stretch it.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so
One down.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
I think part of it is we're freaking out and we're overthinking it too. So let's.
Okay, Canada, Ottawa. Okay, we got
There we
it. Oh, there's like narrative here.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. You fly to Ottawa and venture beyond the city, navigating through a maze of glittering lakes under endless pine. On the edge of a quiet lake, you find a weathered cabin and meet a cartographer draped in a coat stitched with maple leaves and wolf fur. He hands you a cedar-scented letter and says, "Maps end where wonder begins." Before you can reply, he's gone. The letter reads, You find a midnight sun. Okay, I think I already know this one.
Okay.
You find a midnight sun, a darkened noon, with geysers set to nature's tune, where blue lagoon brings warmth and steam, and elves still dwell, or so they dream. Okay, the land of the midnight sun is Japan, right?
Right. But everything else about that
is like right.
Oh, still.
Japan is land of the rising sun.
Oh, you're right.
Dang it. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay,
Rises in the yeah. Rise in the east. That's yeah.
Oh, okay. So I think this might be
a midnight sun.
Midnight sun. So it's somewhere really, really far north or south where
geysers set to nature's tune.
Yeah, so a place with geysers. I'm thinking Iceland or Greenland.
That was about where I was thinking.
Yeah.
Where Blue Lagoon brings warmth and steam. That sounds more. Wait, because it's weirdly flipped, right? Is that Iceland is actually the more like.
Yes, like, Iceland has more like habitable like green land.
Yeah, and Greenland is the one that is actually more. Land. And Greenland is the one that's actually more like icy and
uninhabitable.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
Iceland.
Is it Iceland?
Iceland.
Hey! Yeah,
with the capital of which is Reykjavik.
Yeah!
Thank you. All right, cool. Okay, you want to read the next one?
Yes, absolutely. This is a really good time. All right. Yep, Iceland, Reykjavik.
Yes.
Guided by flickering auras, you follow a trail of rune-marked stones to a mossy cave. Inside, a small woman with silver hair and eyes like glacier ice greets you. An elf-seer keeper of ancient stories. Without a word, she presses a smooth volcanic stone into your hand. Etched upon it, glowing faintly, are the words, 8 giants rest above the world, with flags on strings and colors swirled. Where Everest stands still and high, and temples touch the mountain sky.
Let me see that.
Yeah.
Let's see. 8 giants rest above the world, with flags on strings in colors twirled.
I mean, it's wherever
Everest stands still and high, and temples touch the mountain sky. Okay, so where's Mount Everest?
I don't remember.
Okay, wait. This is really laying our really laying our sins bare. Okay, I took geography in 9th grade.
Yeah.
That was a long time
ago.
Same. That was almost 20 years ago for me. Okay, look. Hold on, because I have educated guesses.
Yeah, Everest. This is the thing that makes people disappointed in America right now. This is it. We're the letdown. We're the letdown of the country right now.
Okay, so
I should know where Everest is.
I'm pretty sure it's a I'm gonna get this wrong. Okay.
I'm with you.
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
I think it's Tibet or Nepal.
I think my brain wants to go Tibet.
Tibet. Is it Tibet?
Damn it! No.
Is it Nepal? Okay. Oh,
you were right. You're right.
The capital of Nepal is
Everest.
That's better than my guess. I was going to say Nepal City.
Good old NPC Nepal.
Fun fact: the 8 of giants.
Mm-hmm.
It means something.
That's referencing the Nepal is home to 8 of the 10 tallest mountains in the world.
Oh shit! Okay, cool.
Go ahead.
Okay,
yeah,
the temples, like the temples bit at the end, is really what clued me. I was like, temples high up in the mountains. That's got to be Tibet or Nepal.
Yes.
All right, so we go to Kathmandu.
Oh,
Kathmandu is of course.
It is that thing where it's like you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, I have heard that before.
All right, your journey takes you to Kathmandu, where incense curls through temple courtyards and prayer wheels spin with every passing breeze. You trek into the Himalayas, the air thinning with each step, until you reach a monastery carved into the cliffs. There, an old monk in crimson robes greets you without surprise. You've climbed far, he said. Same guy. Yeah, same guy. You've climbed far, he says.
How did you get here before us?
Handing you a folded cloth. 17,000 islands wide, where Komodo dragons roam with pride. A tropic ring where mountains roar and shadow puppets tell of lore. I think I know this one.
You do? Okay, go for it.
I think 17,000 islands is throwing me off. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Komodo dragons? if you had asked me before this, if you had said, Brendan, where do Komodo dragons live? I would have said Madagascar, but I don't think that's right now.
No, it's...
But it's tropical. Okay, so it's got to be like
but I was saying, would it be the Philippines?
Philippines is like the other... Okay, is it the Philippines?
No? Okay,
Is it Madagascar? Okay.
You're closer with the Philippines.
Closer to the Philippines. Okay.
17
Is it Indonesia?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Indonesia is the only place where you can find Komodo dragons.
Okay.
I thought they were very specific to one area. For some reason, my brain
Okay.
thought the Philippines, though.
It has the most islands. And
Oh.
the other hint would be the Ring of Fire, which is...
Oh, okay. Yeah. The ring.
Yeah.
There
And
we
the-
go.
The capital, of course.
The capital of Indonesia is...
Komodo. Is that low-key? Is that low-key problematic?
It starts with a J.
A J?
Jamoto. Huh? Am I close? No? Okay. I don't think we're going to get it.
Yeah, you could...
Jakarta.
Jakarta.
Okay.
Dang it. Oh, I should have known. We should have known that from playing Pandemic.
I have never
board
played
game?
Pandemic.
You've never played?
No, I never played it with you guys.
It's a little hard to play after 2020. Hey, let's read number 5.
Yeah. Alrighty. Here we go.
Okay, there's only 7.
Okay, we're
All right,
almost
getting
there. All right. Indonesia, Jakarta, the capital
Yes.
of which it is. The land in Jakarta. You land in Jakarta and weave your way through the vibrant chaos of the city streets, then sail south into the scattered isles where jungle meets volcano and myths still breathe. Deep in the forest, you discover a shadow puppet show performed under moonlights. The figures dancing across stretched cloth like spirits. I'm just throwing this out there. If I am wandering through the fucking, like, jungle and all of a sudden there's a puppet show going on, turning around immediately.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare.
Something's gone
It's a real
horribly wrong.
real nightmare. The figures dancing across stretched cloth like spirits. The puppeteer beckons you closer and places a carved wooden mask in your hands. Inside the mask, scrawled in delicate ink, is your next clue. Where mountains fall and oceans lean, the world's driest desert lies between. A ribbon land that stretches long, not wide, to the furthest south, past Cape Horn's tide. My brain went to like 9 different spots.
Yeah, that's
this whole
my
thing.
thing. I mean, okay, mountains and oceans, the world's driest desert.
Yes.
A ribbon land that stretches long, not wide, to the furthest south, past Cape Horn's tide. It sounds like the entire continent of Africa.
Yeah, that's what I was.
But like that can't be it. So
World's driest desert would probably be if we're in that area, be referencing like the Sahara Desert. Then
that's
right?
what I would think. But calling it's the world's largest desert. They're all pretty damn dry. I don't know if driest has any bearing here.
I mean, largest
but
encompasses
Horn,
the most sand, therefore arguably the driest.
Cape Horn is the southern tip of Africa, right?
No.
No, says our producer benevolently from behind the camera. No. Okay, is it Africa is like the right continent, right?
No, we're not. Oh shit.
Damn. We're doing terribly.
What is the driest?
Cape Horn.
Wait, where the hell's Cape Horn? No, wait. Hold on.
Right, like
it's in that country that you're trying to guess.
Thanks. The hell? Wait a minute. Hold on. No. Wait a minute.
I feel like the best hint. Well, one, I think that the 2 hints that are like the most telling is one, it's a very thin, tall country, and 2, it is the country has the most southern point that's not Antarctica.
Oh, wrong continent. Is it Chile?
It's Chile.
Oh shit! Nice. Okay.
The capital of Chile is. The first thing that came to my mind was Peru. That's all right. That's another country. The capital of Chile is. Nope. Nope. Sorry.
Do you want a letter? Starts with S.
Santiago.
Yes.
No.
Oh, nice. There you go.
My gosh!
There you go.
Wow. All right.
Good job.
Thank you.
Ooh,
all right.
right.
I think this is my turn. All
Yeah.
right.
I feel dumb, but this is very fun.
All right, so you step
into Santiago, where the city hums between towering peaks and the restless Pacific. Heading north, the land dries into silence as you cross the Atacama Desert, its cracked earth whispering secrets under your boots. Near a salt flat, you stumble upon a rusted observatory. Inside, a lone astronomer scribbles furiously into a journal, barely glancing up. He slides a thin brass telescope your way. Below the lens, a note is etched into the middle. From here, head into the Pacific, where secrets sleep. Great faces rise from caverns deep. With hollow eyes and heavy brows, the watchers keep their ancient vows. I think I know it without the clue that's very nicely printed at the bottom of this. Is this Easter Island?
It is!
Oh,
Yay! Yeah.
I had nothing.
So Easter Island is that island with the really big, massive, like face.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Got you. Thank you.
Okay, so Easter Island.
Yeah.
Would you like to wrap this up?
Is there like a capital of Easter Island?
I do not think so.
Easter Island is a part of Chile. It's
Yeah.
an island.
Right. Okay. Copy that. All right. Last one. Here we go. You did it! Hey! You sail across a vast, endless ocean where the world feels both boundless and distant. The island rises from the sea like a forgotten dream, its rocky silhouette cutting through the horizon. The air smells of salt and earth, a place where time seems to have forgotten its course. As you step onto the shore, you encounter silent stone faces, their hollow eyes gazing across the waves. They are the guardians of this forgotten island, their purpose lost to time. In the shadow of these ancient statues, you find a weathered parchment pressed into a stone. You found the treasure. It was, in fact, the friends you made along the way. You turn around to see the cartographer, elf-seer, monk, puppeteer, and astronomer that you met throughout your journey, and you all have a bitchin' party.
And you all have a bitchin' party.
Now,
is crazy.
Now, we gotta remember, 3 of these were the same old man.
Look.
So it's honestly a relatively small party.
We did it! That wasn't so bad.
That
See,
was
we
so
could be
much
the
fun.
next Nathan Drakes, I think.
Sure. That's what you got from this? Okay.
Yeah.
You booked the flight. I'll see you on it. Thank you guys so much for listening to us today as we talked about the Uncharted series. If you played the games, what are some of the moments that created that same sense of adventure for you that we didn't talk about today? Or what are some other games that create that same Indiana Jones feel? Please let us know in the comments.
And as always, if you have any ideas for future discussions on our show, you can send us an email at 3vopodcastteam@gmail.com, and you can give us your ideas. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. We're all at 3VO Podcast. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe to our show. It really does make a difference, and we will love you forever if you do. So do it, please. And we'll see you next time. Bye!